Hello everybody, it's Jack Felix here, and today I'll be making a video comparing Witch and Wizard, and there seems to be a lot of confusion between the two classes. People saying, Witch is better than Wizard, or vice versa, and today I just want to give a quick summary as to what each class excels at, and pros and cons of each class. The list of things I want to talk about today include just giving you a quick introduction in terms of Witch and Wizard. We'll go through some of the important awakening skills for the two classes. We'll skim over the Rebound skills, so that's comparing Rebound Lightning to Rebound Fireball. We'll talk about each class's 1v1 potential, the large scale potential, the PvE grinding, as well as the Black Spirit Rage skills, which still haven't been implemented on NANU. However, I feel that they might be coming soon. And lastly, just to give a quick conclusion and summarize the points I've been going through during the video. Before we begin, the video in the background is myself fighting another fellow Black Rose Witch. Bunny and myself have around about the same gear level, so this way it shows a pretty even fight. It's more skill dependent rather than gear dependent, and hopefully you guys can see some good plays in video and also learn something. So just to give a quick introduction about Witch and Wizard, in terms of the basics, Wizard uses fire and water as elemental skills, while Witch uses lightning and earth skills. So the Wizard has the Mark and Arm Pet, while the Witch has the Tet and Gore Pet. Apart from that, can quickly go over the Rebam skills for Witch and Wizard. So for Witch, she has a skill called Rebam Lightning, whereas Wizard has a skill called Rebam Fireball or Sage's Rage. Now, these two skills, basically you either can choose Sage Heal or you can choose either one of these skills. In my opinion, I reckon that Rebound Fireball is a lot better than Rebound Lightning, just because the difference between Rebound Fireball and the normal Fireball is that not only does it have more damage, more DPS, but it also is able to have a larger area effect, a faster cast time, a faster travel speed, and in general, it works well with the down smash kit of the wizard. You'll always see me using it in 1v1s when I'm grinding, and also in node wars and sieges too. Now, when you compare the Rebound Fireball to Rebound Lightning, basically the Rebound Lightning, I see it as a skill which gives some extra damage and also has a faster cast time. But in terms of actual practical use, I feel like the Rebound Fireball is a lot more useful when compared to the Rebound Lightning. Just keep in mind, in order to either use Rebound Fireball or Rebound Lightning, the player needs to unlock level 4 Fireball or level 4 Lightning. Alright, so now we've quickly gone through that, I want to go through comparing some of the important awakening skills for Witch and Wizard. Now, in my opinion, if you were to straight up look at the skills, awakening skills between Witch and Wizard, I would definitely say that Witch has some of the better awakening skills. So what we can start off talking about is comparing Detonative Flow versus Water Sphere, which is the Shift F ability. So the way I like to compare these is that Detonative Flow is a lock-on instant ability, while Water Sphere is a projectile KD. And so Water Sphere is a knockdown, while Detonative Flow is a float. So in general, people have less resistance against float compared to knockdown. And yeah, this means that poking between Witch and Wizard, especially in 1v1s, is a lot easier to get a CC off using Detonative Flow compared to Warsphere, in my opinion. Another thing that's interesting about Detonative Flow is that it has ability to hit targets above you. For example, if you're sieging Valencia, Media, or Calphian Castle, if you're below the first gate, you're able to sometimes hit targets above you, whereas like directly on top of you, whereas you can't really do that with Water Sphere. So the next set of skills we're going to be comparing is Fissure Wave, and we're going to compare that to the Witch's Fissure Wave, and we're going to be comparing that to the Wizard's Hellfire. So both of these abilities are obviously very different skills. Fissure Wave is a frontal guard, and it has ability to hit people in the back and CC them. Whereas Hellfire is used to have frontal guard on its ability, however that was removed. So therefore now it's more of a movement ability or finisher move. You generally don't want to be using Hellfire as a wizard in any forms of engagement, especially in 1v1s large scale, because majority of the time you'll probably just get CC knocked down and killed. So in that sense, I would probably say Fissure Wave is the better skill compared to Hellfire, especially since Hellfire is missing the frontal guard. Now, comparing the next two skills, which are Voltaic to Cataclysm and Bolide to Thunderstorm, both of these abilities are pretty much do the same thing. However, there are slight differences, such as maybe the speed of the skill. Some people say it's a little bit different. However, personally, I never really noticed that much of a change. So basically, they're both super armor skills. Cataclysm and Voltaic, both of them have a down tack on as in terms of a CC ability, and Bolide and Thunderstorm, both of these are damaging skills within super armor. However, they don't have CC in PvP. So now we come down to the skill I want to talk about a bit, which is comparing Yoke of Ordeal or Gore Roll to Chilling Wave, which is Chilling Wave is a wizard's frontal guard ability, and Goro is a witch's frontal guard ability. Now, I cannot state how underperforming the wizard's Chilling Wave is, and how good of ability the witch's Goro is. So we'll go into detail, a little bit of detail about that right now. The reason why I would say that the witch's Goro is so good when compared to the wizard's Chilling Wave is that the easiest way I can describe it is it's a more reliable skill. What I mean by that is if you can even test this out. Just try to trade with a witch. In terms of trading a Chilling Wave with a Gore Roll. Now, unless you're standing directly in front of a witch, if you're standing, let's say, within medium distance of witch, then every single time, if you're around the same gear level, the witch will always win that front guard trade. And additionally, Goro is just a great and reliable ability in most situations, whereas Chilling Wave, most of the times, because it mainly comes from a single point of damage, single source, your frontal guards will seals will sometimes just go through your frontal guards, and you'll get CC'd even though you're facing the direction. And also the damage is pretty unreliable. Now, that doesn't mean that Chilling Wave is a useless skill. In fact, I think it has its uses, especially when you're, for example, a useful scenario would be when you're diving into enemy's fort and you get your back behind one of the walls and you're trading frontal guards. And the great thing about frontal guards is that you're not able to get, as long as you have your frontal guard up, you're not really taking damage, and also you can't really be CC'd. Unlike in super armors where you can be slowed, and as soon as your super armor disappears, you're going to be taking the full damage, even if you're still in the animation of casting your super armors. But yeah, I think we've gone through most of the awakening abilities. We just did a quick comparison. I'm not going to go into full depth about it. But basically, the opinion is if you were just to compare witches and wizards' awakening abilities, obviously I would say that witches would be slightly ahead, just mainly due to them having better frontal guard skills than wizard, and yeah, that's just the main point. Obviously, there's a lot of other points as well, but I'm not going to go that in depth about it in this video. So now I guess we can go on talking about the differences between the witch and wizard block. So The witch has a Q block while the wizard has an S block. Now, the difference between the Q block and S block is that Q block of the witch is a stationary block. It gives you 4 seconds of increased defensive, like increased resistance against grapple and other forms of CCs. While the wizard S block is not a stationary block, you need to be walking backwards. And also, it doesn't give you any bonus defensive stats and is basically not as good as the Witch's block. However, it does have its uses. Definitely before Wizard didn't even have a block, so until a couple months ago, they implemented a patch which gave a lot of classes S blocks, including Wizard. And being able to cycle between the block stance, which is a frontal guard, and being able to cycle between blocks and movement is pretty important. So the next thing I want to kind of talk about is the wizard versus the witch 100%. Basically, in my eyes, I feel that the wizard's 100% bolide, which is basically a big meatball, is more useful than the witch's 100%, which is Fisher Wave. Now, I say that because Fisher Wave is sometimes unreliable, especially if using a skill on an incline area, and you need to hit it at the correct range for it to do the damage. Whereas the bolide or the meatball kind of is whoever it hits, it does a lot of damage to. And with the wound mechanic in place, if you're able to double teleport in and land a big 100% on an enemy guild, that does a lot of work. And yeah, I think I've gone through most of the important stuff. So now what I'd like to talk about is to quickly go through the difference in grinding between Witch and Wizard. Now, for the majority of the spots, Wizard and Witch grind at roughly the same speed. However, when you get to more of the end-game grind spots, that's when there's a slight difference. And what makes up for most of the difference, so if you compare a grind spot like Ackman, which is a spot where a lot of classes that have down smash in their kits does well. Wizard tends to be slightly better than Witch. Now, this doesn't say that Witch can't do well in Ackman compared to Wizard, but basically, some of the skills Witch has, such as Gore Roll, and I think Gore Roll and Fisher Wave, that kind of push the mobs away from the Witch, and if you don't time it properly, it can increase your clear speed. But in general, I like to say that the PvE grinding for between Witch Wizard, there isn't really that much difference. The only difference I really see is the difference between Rebound Fireball and Rebound Lightning, and that's only really matters in high-end grind spots like History or Ackman. Now I want to quickly talk about the 1v1 potential of both classes. If you were to put a matchup between Witch and Wizard and they're around the same gear, what I would say is that if it was your average Joe kind of person, like your beginner player or a player who doesn't have that much experience in the game, usually Wizard will be the better 1v1 class compared to Witch. However, when you're fighting more skilled opponents who have a lot of knowledge in the game and they know how to abuse that resistance buff that Witch has with Q block and mana shield, and also using some of the range CC over the wizard and the frontal skills, it can become a very even matchup. So that's my quick thought about that. Now the last thing I want to talk about is the large scale potential between witch and wizard. Now, if I was to compare the two classes large scale, I would most likely say that Wizard would be better for open field fights, and Witch would be better for holding down chokes. Now, the reason I say is because Witch has a lot better frontal guard skills than Wizard, and one more frontal guard skill, while Wizard has one more super armor skill. And also, you need to take into account the 100% of the Witch and Wizard too. Now, I think that's pretty much everything I want to go through in this video. Just to quickly summarize, in terms of the witch and wizard debate thing, in general, I would say that the witch has better awakening skills than the wizard in general. However, I would value the wizard's Rebound Fireball over the witch's Rebound Lightning. Now, when you're comparing them in 1v1 situations, like a witch versus a wizard, I would say that for the general case, wizard usually performs better than a witch. However, when you get to the high end of PvP, where people are very skilled with the classes, it becomes a more even matchup, arguably even more favorable for the witch. And in terms of large scale, I'll just quickly say that Wizard is better for open field, in my opinion, and Witch is better for holding down chokes, just because, skills like Gore Roll and Fisher Wave, and, and also comparing the 100% Bolide to Fisher Wave, the 100% Fisher Wave, I would say that Bolide, the big meat bull, is personally, I find it better. A lot of witches say that their 100% is pretty garbage and is unreliable. This is the same when you're comparing Chilling Wave to Goral in a sense. So hopefully that makes it more clearer for you guys. I feel like it's not that fair to say whether one class is definitively better than other. It really does depend on situation. And I can tell you right now, in terms of performing well in Siege and large scale, a lot of the cases, the the wizards do outperform the witches sometimes, whereas the witches outperform the wizards on some other days. So it's not totally black and white, and I hope you guys can make your own opinion on which class you would like to main in the future. If you're still unsure, what I would suggest you do is try again to Global Labs, or even try out both Witch and Wizard, and see which one you like. Just level them up and try out their awakening skills, and the class you like more, you can just make that your main for the moment. So yeah, I hope this video was helpful, informative. If you have any more questions, or anything you need help with, anything you're unsure about that wasn't said in this video, you can come and check out my Discord. We have a section there dedicated to helping out newer players, and also I do stream on Twitch every day. And I'm mostly about trying to help people in that stream. So yeah, as always, links are in the description down below, and I hope you guys enjoy the video, and I'll see you next time. This is Jackie Felix. I'm signing out. Peace.